In this video, I'm going to run you through how to use the financial freedom formula to understand your targets for financial freedom and learn a little bit more about what you might need to do in order to achieve that target. So let's flick to the spreadsheet, and if you haven't downloaded this from the portal, then just download this. I'm working on this on a Google Sheet, but you'll be able to download this and open it up in Microsoft Excel, for example. It's all the same thing, really. The Excel document just means that you can store the local version on your computer. So you may or may not have already seen this. You might have tackled it in a breakout session or seen me demo it on a webinar. I'm just going to go through as if you haven't actually seen this before. If you have already created your own financial freedom formula and you already have this, then you can skip this training if you like. So the way this works is we have a bunch of values on the left-hand side that we need to fill in. And on the right-hand side, it's basically column J here is going to calculate how many years it's going to take us to reach financial freedom. So let's start to fill some of this in. So any cell that's colored with this orangey color is one that you fill in. Everything else that you don't need to touch. So for the ideal living budget yearly, this is like what budget would you need in order to live your ideal life, when you hit this financial freedom formula. And it doesn't have to be, a retirement age of 65 years old or whatever. It's just going to be relative to where you are now. So for example, in this example, let's just use 150,000. Let's say this is me. I'm going to say, right, $150,000 is my financial freedom target. Now the next one is, what annual interest or yield do you think would be possible to earn from that, or what are you earning now? So there's a couple ways to kind of fill this in. The standard is for the stock market is kind of 7 or 8%, so I might just put 8% in for that for now. So basically what this now will tell us is that our financial freedom target is 1.875 million. And if we hit that target and we're earning 8% yield from our assets, then we'll be able to have a living budget of $150,000 per year. That's how it works. Now we enter in how many current assets that we do have. So if you have a house, for example, then you might be able to add that in. Now it's got to be a house that's debt free, because if it's in debt, you've got a mortgage and you're actually paying interest. So it's not actually earning you an income. So let's just say, for example, I've got an $800,000 house. In fact, I'm going to bump this up a little bit for this example and say that, well, not 20,000. I don't think that's going to be enough to live, at least not in Australia. So 200,000, we've got a house in there. Now the first thing is, like, what is your income stream? And you could have multiple income streams. So you could have, rent, you could have your day job, you could have a side hustle, all that stuff would go in here. So in this example, let's just go and put in about 8,000, which is around 100,000 per year. Then it's, what is your current living expenses? So currently I've got 0 in there. That's obviously not right. Now you'll have to work this out yourself, and it's basically got to be relative to your income stream. So if I was to put more than $8,000, then it basically you're never going to hit financial freedom, because the way that it works is it takes your income stream minus your living expenses, and then the amount of money that you have left you're actually investing. So you want to basically get those numbers right. So for example, if I put $6,000 a month there, then that would show that I have $2,000 in savings, and the formula will actually invest that $2,000 every month into it. And you can see here that the capital injection then becomes $24,000 each year. And then it calculates our total capital, how much interest our accumulated amount, and then it basically feeds into each other. So currently, as it stands, without me changing anything, my financial freedom target is going to be hit after 24 years. Okay. So that's, depends how old you are. For me, that would, probably take me to around retirement age anyway. So I'd like to be able to do that a little bit faster. So let's go and start tweaking a few things. I can't change the current assets, but what would happen if I took on another income stream? So maybe I started doing some coaching or something on the side, and we got an extra $1,000 of income. Now, if I enter that in, it goes from 24 years down to 20. So great. So if I can get additional income stream of $1,000 a month, I'll cut 4 years off that. Fantastic. I like that. That's good. Now, you could actually look at reducing your living expenses, but I don't really think that's realistic. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to sacrifice the quality of life that I'm living. And so I don't want to make that something that I change. But let's say I went to put in some additional capital so that we could boost this up when we invest initially. So let's say I said, all right, well, I'm going to put $50,000 in initially to give us that boost. And we can see there that it took off another year. So now our starting capital, or at least in the first year, is going to be $86,000, and then $36,000 every year after that. So we're down to 19 years. Now, what really makes the difference in this, or a big thing that makes a difference, is this annual interest or yield. So if you're able to get this up a little bit higher, let's even just start modest and just say, let's just get up an extra 10%. So that goes from 19 years to 14 years. So we straight away shaved five years off our financial freedom duration or time it's going to take to reach it. Okay, and that's the power of compound interest when it's working for you. What about if we be a little bit more successful with our investments and say, right, well, I might be a little bit more aggressive and see if I can hit 15% year on year, and look at the massive difference that makes. So that's dropped now to 7 years. Okay, and if you were to get it up to say 20%, you're down to 3 years. So this is the power of compound interest, and that can go either way. So if you're paying interest like a mortgage or whatever, then you're actually compounding interest is working against you. So that's why it's so important to have compound interest working for you, and how even just boosting your annual interest or yield can actually accelerate your financial freedom a lot faster. And if you've seen me present this before, it usually, as part of a webinar or whatever, then I usually will highlight that in crypto you can sometimes get quite high annual returns. So one of my portfolios, I'm getting about 30% annually at the moment. So don't suggest you put all of your income into crypto to earn passive income, but you can definitely put a portion of it to try and get this annual interest yield figure a little bit higher. So hopefully that's been useful for you to understand how to use this, and you now got a much better idea of what you need to do in order to reach financial freedom. And you can keep updating this as well as you go if new things change in your life. So thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.